extremely how do I say it? She can do everything basically. So deciding what
Mm.
to do in the mid fight can be extremely hard because there'll often be 3 or 4 things that you can do, and I guess the goal is to pick the best option out of all of those, which can be tough to do sometimes. But we'll get into that when we get into it. I'll start off by saying a few things about D.Va generally. Well, actually,
Okay.
before I say that, you tell me. What are I mean, obviously you don't know what they're running because it's the first fight, right? But what are
Yep.
you looking to do as D.Va generally? What can you do as D.Va? And how can that apply to what they're running?
Um, as Diva, in the comp I have, I guess I'm going to play more aggressive because the Mercy is just probably going with the Surge. I will just enable my DPS and at the same time try to harass their backline. Here, I guess I would try to deny Moga CDs like when he goes in, and then probably try to lessen the value of Reaper and add some pressure on carry, I guess.
Right? So
That's what I would do.
yeah, so like what you kind of listed out there is kind of like stuff or different stuff that you can do, which is like fine in terms of like, hey, I can deny Malga, I can mark Reaper, I can pressure backline, I can enable my DPS. I guess like the main mindset with your comp at least that you got from spawn, how what would you say are like the strengths and weaknesses of your comp that you're running out here?
We have good poke.
Right.
Well, except me, that is not poke character, but like Soj is good at poking, and so is Freya. So I guess the fight will be a bit slower than dive pace, I guess.
Okay.
So we slowly take angles, then we rush on the enemy anytime that they waste a big city like Suzu or.
Right. Okay. That's fine. I guess like I mean, first off, right. Just because you're playing a more ranged comp doesn't mean that you have to play slow, and just because maybe you're playing a faster comp, or I say faster in terms of mobility, just because you're playing a comp with more mobility doesn't mean you have to play faster. It's quite big. It's a fairly big misconception that players have all the time. Because if you're playing like Diva, Lucio, Kiri, or something like that, you can actually play really slow. Either if that's to build ults or just play for space or just not go early. Of course, there's going to be a time where you do play fast, but it's something worth noting because that can get a bit blurred. But barring that, the way your comp's going to play is if I draw a graph, we'll draw a graph like this basically. Do this. It's not a graph. Do like time and then like power. Like this is a bit crude or oversimplified, but your comp is basically like this. It's basically like a flat line. And their comp is kind of like this. It's kind of like blue's not great. We'll use yellow. Like a wave like this basically. And your goal is to absorb this sort of big spike of value that their comp gets. So that might look like them TPing in, them Malga stomping in and popping overdrive, them Moira flanking and getting a good angle, their Cass swinging wide while the Malga stomps in. And that's the really important thing is, can my team live this big spike of cooldown pressure? If we can, we will probably win because we've got more range pressure from the get-go. So that's really what I'm looking for here. We'll see how it goes here. Of course, it's going to be a moment in time where they do actually. I hope the Malga does actually stomp in and not just beam you down or whatever. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay. Let's see. Fine. Fine. Okay. See D.Va, Moira. So you've seen D.Va, Moira, Reaper. Now you know that I've got Margot as well, so you know their comp roughly. Eating overdrive is fine. Okay, fine. Okay, sure. So yeah, this is where we start to get into the slight mistakes of it. Funnily enough, this booster isn't part of what I said at the beginning. But it's a fairly common mistake, not just on D.Va, but on any tank character in the game. So, starting off, over the Matrix was fine onto the Malga. That was good. I've got no complaints there. Boosting onto the Reaper's fine as well. I've got no complaints there either. What do you think might be the issue here, though?
Um,
Maybe
I
not here
end
specifically, but
boosters
generally.
like just in front of everyone.
Yeah, exactly, right? You hard commit your boosters indirectly in front of the enemy team when you don't actually need to. Now, this is where we get into the slight nuances of Diva boosters here, where boosting onto Reaper, that's fine, right? Maybe, you know, you read the way, maybe you didn't need to boost this, but it's fine. You can force him out. That's what you should have been doing here. I'm okay with that. I think that's fairly reasonable. We've got some armor as well. The initial booster here is fine. The issue is this remaining 3/4 of this booster, where you decide to, you know what? It's almost like sunk cost fallacy in a way, where you decide to, you know what, I've already pressed my boosters, I might as well get full use out of it, I'm gonna boost it all the way in. And this is really not great, because there's no trigger, or there's no reason, or there's no advantage for you to be going in this deep. And it means that against a good Malga, he should stomp you here. He misses the stomp, right? But a good Malga will just stomp onto you, and you'll get burned. And the Reaper will turn around and burn you as well, in accordance with that. So, what can you do here instead, basically, with your boosters? A few things you can do.
Probably just turn around and go back where I was before turning towards the Reaper.
Yes, that could maybe work. I wasn't necessarily wasn't what I was thinking, but that could definitely work. You could frontline the Malga, swing around the corner. I think that's okay. You could also just cancel it here. I think that's fine as well. Or you could maybe fly over here, right? Now, why might this be a good idea? What value could you be getting here? Why might this be a good place to fly to?
Because if they try to walk on the point, I can just apply some damage.
Right.
It also gives more space for the DPS that can now go on the left of the
Exactly,
point.
right? So this is what I like to call I say this all the time with different characters, but this is what I like to call aggressive but safe positioning. And the reason why it's aggressive and also safe is that, let's say you boost it over here, and let's say the Cass, the Malga, maybe you got no Wraith, so we'll exclude the Reaper for now. But let's say generally this entire enemy team wants to come and clear you off of this angle, because you're so far away. And because you've got so much distance, or not necessarily distance, so you've got distance as well here, right? But because you've got this big, massive clot of open space on point, that means if they do come and get you, or the Cass and the Malga, they do want to run onto you, that gives so much space for your team. And it makes it really risky for the Cass and the Malga to run all the way onto you. Because, again, your Sojourn, your Mercy, your Juno, your Freya, they're gonna get value if the Cass and the Malga run onto you here. And that's really the big thing. It's playing positions that if they want to clear you, they're gonna put themselves in danger. They're gonna put themselves at risk. And that's an example of a position there. And of course, if they ignore you, if these guys don't go onto you, you've got a great angle here. You can do another Cassidy, you can force point, you can then look to boost up afterwards. Maybe you boost onto the Cassidy afterwards. Maybe then you can look to, again, try and dive, you know, switch playstyles and go into the backline here maybe. Then you can switch places in accordance with that. But yeah, that's like whenever you can, or whenever you're able to like look for these positions in the mid fight, they're really pivotal to look for. I also call this I'm looking into the boosters here. I have an idea called booster baiting, which basically kind of links onto that idea where you'll use the first like half, or the first bit of your boosters to do something, and then you'll use the second half, or the second bit of your boosters, to do something else, right? So in here, in this example, you use the first half, or the first bit of your boosters, to clear the Reaper, and then you use the second half, or the second bit of your boosters, to fly over here, or, again, fly back over here, right? But as I've explained, this is probably the better place to go, because of your angle, and you've got more distance, and all that aggressive but safe idea there. But yeah. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so yeah, of course you got stuck there. Obviously, because you have to, you flew into the enemy team there. You're forced to use some DM, which means that again, you haven't got much DM against the Marco right now. Okay, let's back it up a little bit. Warning, it's like fairly okay. And maybe a little bit like a priority there onto the Moira, who fades onto the Cassidy, but barring that, nothing crazy. Okay, good. This attachment is fine. Okay, point fine. But this is like kind of the biggest concern when trying to play Diva here, is that you're going to frontline against a Reaper Malga. And sure, you can eat some damage here or there. Sure, you've got armor, but over time you're going to lose the fight, or you're going to lose the trade here. and that's why looking for these angles is really, really important. Because if you take this like sort of front to back fight against Amalga, you will just lose. You literally might as well be playing Orisa here, or to a lesser extent Ramattra as well, because D.Va is not good in this front to back.
Okay.
Look how tough it is for you here. You know, like you're trying to brawl a Malga and a Reaper on a character that does not specialize in brawling. So yeah, of course you get D.Va there eventually. It's kind of like it almost reminds me of literally what you just said about flying over here. You know, it's kind of why I was like not so keen on it, because you're flying back into Amalga and you don't want to brawl Amalga. Of course that doesn't mean
Yeah.
you can't eat his overdrive, right? Or you shouldn't be looking to do that. But it means that you can be doing if you've got mobility on D.Va, use the mobility that you have. Otherwise it's kind of the point playing the character.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, so you get out alive somehow. Fine, get back. Okay, fine. Also Reaper, fine. Go back, fine. Cassidy, good. Okay. Get up a little bit. You picked the eject perk. Now I know again that I haven't seen or haven't heard many players talk about the extended booster perk. But again, linking onto that last idea about the whole booster basing thing, that's when it becomes really useful, because you've got more flexibility with how you can use your boosters. Whereas on D.Va, you should really never be looking to get demeched anyways. As kind of like, you know, whatever. But if you get demeched, you're gonna lose a fight. That's what I'm saying. Whereas the booster perk makes more sense, so I would generally go for that one. Or experiment with it a little bit. But yeah. Okay. Stay here. Yeah, fine. Turn Reaper, fine. Okay. And it's a small thing again, right? But like, so you use the first off your boosters to clear Reaper, and then you can use the second half, just turn around and keep chasing him. Turn around and take an angle here, or take an angle here, and widen up the map. But yeah, small thing there. Okay. See here. Okay. And you see how tough this is, you know? Because why are we brawling Amalga and a Reaper? You're 200 HP by the time he even pops overdrive it, you know? And this is not an efficient trade. So where should you be looking to? First off, why are you brawling Amalga here? And second off, where can you look to move to instead?
I think I was like, we gotta find a way to push them so we can take some space and just do something. This is something where I get stuck like in a lot of games. Like I am against brawl heroes and I'm like, okay, I shouldn't brawl against them, but at the same time I can't find a way not to brawl against them.
Right, so
Uh,
it's difficult on a map like this, because especially this specific point of Antarctic Peninsula, because it is very flat. There's very little high ground to use. But I guess the solution to that is playing with distance, or again playing in positions to where if they chase you, or if they try and force you out, they're putting themselves at risk. Right. So where can you think of on the map here that would benefit, that links into that idea? Where can you fly to maybe that if they come and force you out, then they're putting themselves at risk?
Um, maybe going far left because if they go on me,
Right.
oh Freya can have better angles.
Right. So if they come onto you here, so you let's say you booster from point A to point B, right? You fly over there, that's fine. Your Sojourn right over here, your Mercy, and your Freya, of course, they're gonna get tons of value on this angle here, right? The Malga can't hold here, and hold here at the same time, you know? If he wants to come and brawl you, then he needs to dash over or stomp over to come and get you. But of course, you kind of put him in a what's it called, between a rock and a hard place, because if you're over here, well then he wants to be able to go onto your Sojourn. He also wants to be able to mark your Freya, but then he doesn't want to leave you uncontested, because then you can fly onto the Cassidy, you can fly onto the Moira, you can fly onto the Kiriko, you can start forcing the point here and make it more difficult for him to actually, you know, go into your squishy characters. So yeah, that would be like the probably the best one to do. So the second one is actually flying right over here, and you've got a little bit of high ground to use here, so you can avoid a stomp basically. You can fly over here, you can go above the building, and then fly over here, pressure up the Kiriko, and again if they come and chase you, your Freya's gonna have the time of her life as well as your Sojourn. And that would have made a big difference, right? So if we put the camera here, and let's say you flew over here, like You're flying, you're flying, you're flying. Let's say like now you're here. Like that Kiriko gets forced out immediately. This Malga now is in a predicament to where, hey, I can't run onto Diva because I'm gonna give Freya and Sojin space, but I can't stay here because I'm gonna let the Diva take an angle. I'm gonna let the Sojin take an angle. I need to do something here essentially. If you're the Malga, and this is kind of the key thing. When you put that Malga between a rock and a hard space, he stays still, he's gonna get poked at by Sojin and Freya, and you as well. But if he decides to move into someone, then you or your Freya or your Sojin will get value out of it. That's really the key idea there. Okay. So you get. Let's see what you're from your POV here. You get really low, but I assume you DM it out. Okay. It's just a bad overdrive on his part. Okay. 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 Get some more, that's fine. Okay. Cool. And like, even, I'm not sure you intended to do this, right? But this is like, again, being over here it makes it a lot more difficult for anyone to come and force you out, or it makes it a lot more difficult for anyone to come and, you know, essentially chase you out. I think that because the Malga wasted his overdrive here, this fight becomes a lot easier. So yeah, you can see like again, the Malga tries to go into your Freya, but your Freya just leaves immediately. And again, it's kind of the similar idea here, where again, had you been playing here, if the Malga comes and chases you, you can drop down and leave, while again your Freya and your Sojin walk forward and get space. In this case, it's your Freya gets chased out, so you get space, your Sojin gets space too. So yeah.
Okay.
You've also a Reaper there, which is nice. Yeah, you got a Moira there, which is fine. And then you've got a good angle, right? And now the Malga needs to make a choice. Do I go do I look at the Diva, who is behind my team right now, shooting my Cassidy, and who can DM the High Noon, or do I go on the overcooking Sojin, who's gonna get a pocket? You know, it's not the easiest choice in the world, and either choice the Malga makes is not gonna be great. So this kind of thing, this kind of like I guess dichotomy you could call it, or again, rock and a hard play situation is where you want to put the Malga in. But yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So you can just cancel the boosters here, right, very simply. So, boost into Kiriko, right, cancel it, and then shoot her. Yeah. You lose sight of her. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you lost sight of her, you can kill her. Unfortunate. You should still win this fight though. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Eventually win that fight. We'll see here. He's beating. Okay, mark the gas, nice. Cool. Okay. Get a stack of picks there, basically. Okay. So why bomb this?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I guess I was too greedy here. I know that bombing is bad in general if it's not to remake.
Yeah.
I don't remember why I did that.
Yeah,
It looks very bad from like reviewing it.
right, looking back over it, right? Yeah. Is the likelihood that you're gonna get a kill is so low, and it's just wasting an ability for no reason. Again, you would like to save that for a remake, or maybe you do a really aggressive play, and then you bomb, or if you get caged, then you bomb, and then he has to cancel the cage. And bomb for cage trade is pretty favorable for you, so kind of a waste.
Okay.
Somehow you get the Kiriko, I don't know how, but you just yeah. Okay, fine. This is gonna be like, hold on, you get a demective. Wow. Okay. Okay. Just don't DM the shots here. Yeah, you're not well. Your HP. You've got more than enough DM here. This is fine, but you can just DM this out right now. Like generally, as a general rule of thumb, I say, whenever you've got no armor, that's when you want to be using your defensive abilities. So in Ramattra, it's when you lose armor in Nemesis form, then you'll typically start blocking. On Ryan, when you lose armor, you'll typically start shielding. On Diva, when you lose armor, you'll typically start matrixing. So the second you lose armor here, you need to be matrixing. Not to mention, Reaper's damage gets halved into armor, as you know. So it makes it even more important to do that. Like now, now that DM needs to be coming up. I don't even care about the kill. Just can't get demected. And yeah, and you're probably gonna lose that fight. I would assume.
Yeah.
Your most Freda, you're probably gonna die here too. Yeah, okay. I mean, the good news is that they used the ults for that, so it's not terrible. But yeah. Okay, we'll see here. Okay. Okay. So where should you fly to? From here.
Left again. I
Right,
guess.
so your left makes more sense. Right, why is this a bit more dangerous to go over here?
Because they are all here, so
Yeah,
they can just turn.
they can turn onto you and burn you immediately, and there's not much cover here to use, right? And the Reaper here it can also go onto you as well, so it's a bit too dangerous to do that. But yeah, had you flown like again over here, like here's fine, here's fine as well, right? A little bit more distance is the important factor here. Then that would have been again a better thing to do. Or again, that would have gotten you more value here for the same reasons I've described prior. Where again, the Malga Reaper need to do something to clear you out. If they want to clear you out, your Sojourn Frey get a lot more space. Whereas here, you fly straight into a Malga's face, and it's not ideal. Put it lightly. You get orbit for it though, and yeah, your Freya pops ult as well. Still might win the brawl here because of the ults. Okay. Okay. And you see how tough it is here because you're pushing out into Malga and into Reaper, you know? Like there's no angled pressure coming from here, anywhere behind them at all. Or any sort of usage of this left side of the map here. We could even replay it back maybe, and you can say, let's say hypothetically, I go back a little bit here. Let's say you did actually fly to the left side here. You flew over and you went here instead, right? Let's say you went here. Right, maybe the Reaper starts looking at you. Maybe the Moria starts looking at you. Maybe you start walking onto the point, and then you can force point. And then again, the Reaper starts looking at you more. The Moria starts looking at you more. Maybe the Malga goes onto you, and then you can sort of like avoid a stomp by playing the cover here. And then that creates a ton of space with Freya and Juno during the orbital raid. So that would have been quite nice. Okay. But like, look how close that Reaper's playing, right? If you fly over here, you can't hold this angle. You just can't. And notice how dangerous the angle is because of how close the Reaper is to your Sojourn, to your Mercy, and to your Sojourn as well. This is again a really important thing on D.Va is clearing out these angles beforehand. Which again you could have done by going over here. Yeah, really unfortunate. Okay. I guess like why do you never like consider going here in the first place while you're playing the game?
Sorry.
Why do you never like consider going playing like boostering to this angle here in the first place?
I think I get too tunnel visioned on the idea of like denying Moga's kills.
Yeah, that probably makes sense because it's very easy and natural and even satisfying to just beam Malga, just shoot Malga, put your missiles into him, and depress your Matrix onto his E and think you're doing a lot. But Malga's actually fine with that. I mean, a good Malga will never waste his overdrive. He'll just burn your armor and then he'll overdrive when you're low. Or he'll overdrive when you're boostering out and he's won the brawl. He doesn't need to overdrive if he doesn't need to. Bad Malgas like in this elo will just waste overdrives. But even regardless of Malga, right? It could be an Orisa, it could be a Marcher, it could be Orion, any tank, any ground tank, brawl tank in the game. Zarya especially as well. Yeah, even Zarya would be even worse because again you just get melted more. But yeah, obviously not great. So. Okay. Okay. I might win this. Okay. Nice. That was good. That was nice boosters though, right? Where the initial half, notice how the first half of your boosters is used to chase the Reaper, and then you flick to the Kiriko at the very end, right? That's the important idea that I want to see more of. That's what high level D.Va players do all the time. That was good. Missiles, not so much. Of course, you just can't see Kiriko, so don't bother using them.
Okay.
It's like now you would love missiles here. You can missile Matrix and then burn the Reaper. Okay. Yeah, this is probably lost fight there. Yeah, lost fight. Okay. Let's look at the second point here. Should be a little bit easier, considering the map isn't as flat, but we'll see. Okay. Okay, fine. Fortunately, you can eat that. Right, and again, notice how very, very, very similar to how we saw, in the in one of the fights on one of the retakes on first point, where because you frontlined so heavily into Malga and into Reaper, you got your HP burned really quickly. And it's the exact same things happening here, right? I think if you want to make this really simple, look at the HPs of every single person on this game right now. You are the odd one outs. You are getting forced out really, really early here. You are feeding. This is what is feeding in this game here, you know? where you're going really, really aggro and frontlining to a comp that you shouldn't really be frontlining into. So how can you fix this? Where can you move to? What are the places that you can move to that means that you don't feed?
Probably top, like on the right top on the side. So I would be behind them, like when they try to walk
Or
on
like
the
over here?
left.
Or
I mean, just below.
like
Here. Yeah.
yeah, that could work. I mean, you haven't got your boosters yet, which is my main concern. Is that like you just can't like you can't realistically do that because you haven't got boosters. So what's something that you could do here?
Probably play a bit more on the right, so I'm not in their LOS right away.
Yeah, maybe, right? But again, this has got no cover, and you're vulnerable to people shooting you here, and you're vulnerable to people still coming around this corner, right? So it's a little bit less intuitive, but what's your other option?
Mm,
Again, think about where it's really
well,
hard to clear you.
uh, I would guess on the left of the mech. Like, yeah, here.
Yeah, I mean, this is better, right? Because it means that, you know, you're not peeking two different angles at once. That could be better. But again, still not what I'm thinking, right? So why not drop down to here and play this corner?
Oh, okay.
Right? Why might I? What are the benefits of playing here?
Mm,
Is it hard? Is it easy for the Malga to clear you?
no,
Why is it
because
not
it would
easy?
have to, because it would have to drop, and then all the team drop if they want to be with the Moga.
Right? So he needs to go all the way through here, turn the high grounds, back, like turn his face away from again the rest of your entire team who are here, by the way, and just to come and kill you, right? And the same kind of idea from these people here too, right? If you drop down into this cubby hole, then all of a sudden these people need to swing all the way out in this open space to come and catch you. That's very risky, both sides, right? It's very risky for people coming out here, and it's very risky for people who want to push you from those high grounds because it means that again your backline's got all the space in the world to work with, right? Now this hinges partially on the fact that your team are in fucking spawn right now. Your team aren't actually here yet, so do be wary of that as well. But again, I still think that even because of that, actually, you kind of don't want to be wasting your resources early before your team can even do anything, you know. So stand here or stay in that little corner. You'll get your boosters back in time. And then, if you see someone pushing high ground, if you see like an aggressive person playing here, if you see someone pushing this angle here, then you can think about boosting onto that target, and then that will make a little bit more sense. But yeah,
Okay.
because of that, but obviously because you don't play in that little cubby hole and you don't recognize it as being a good place, you get forced out really easily. And I think now is when I would drop down, right? Because now if you drop down here, this Malga needs to play over here. But if the Malga plays over here, your Sojourn is gonna beam the shit out of that Malga, you know, and get free rail. So that's the point of this, you know. And again, you really need to be thinking about where can I play that, where can I play such that it's risky for the enemy team to clear me. That's the way I would think about it. But yeah. Up to 182, 100 HP, 80 HP. Now we're panicking our boosters away. Now you get forced out. Should have gotten D-Mech there, to be honest. And now, like, your honor hit's a great nade, and you're probably still going to win this fight because of how broken nade is. But you haven't helped your team here, so to say. Or you haven't been a big boon to your team getting or clearing this Malga out. Okay. Booster fine. Okay, clearing Reaper's fine here. Nice. Booster cancel's good. Plus Wraith. Mori's low. Spacing's good. Nice. It's okay. Night and day here. A lot better here, right? I think all the boosters have been good so far. Again, you switched places quite well. We went from brawling the Malga when he was low, which was fine, to marking the Reaper, which was fine, to then again diving the Moira, which again, completely fine. So all so far, the last 10 seconds, been very good actually. No complaints.
Okay.
Okay, nice, better, right? So again, notice how again the first off your boosters go into the Reaper, and then second off you immediately flick away and you play the corner here and play the Moira. Right, this is one. This needs to happen almost every single time you use boosters. Nice. Okay. Nice. Yeah, he's low. Whatever. A lot better that second half. A lot better. Okay. The loop is fine. Okay. Drop it a little bit. Okay. Okay. Cool. Fine. Nothing crazy going on so far, just in the pre-fight right now. Okay. Okay. And this, so where you're playing right now, do you think what you're playing right now is a good position?
Yes.
Alright, why do you think it's a good position?
Because like I'm in range of my team to peel like if the Moga dives, which is
Mm,
what happens,
mm.
and they just can't push me because otherwise all my team sees them.
Right. Exactly. Right. That's the key thing. Where look how much risk Smarga's putting himself in by doing this ridiculous stomp. Right. Like he will die for this. I can already tell he will die for this. But it's good. Right. Which is what you want, obviously. So this is good. Right. It's the fact that the Malga is putting themselves at risk in order to come for your team and for you as well. That's good. The only thing I'd say here, or the only thing I'd note or be wary of, is that while the Mal was stomping in, what might the rest of his team be doing?
Mm,
Very simple.
rotating, like
Yeah,
just to
right?
engage with them.
Exactly, right? They want to walk up. They want to push up, press W, while the Mal was running in. Why might that pose a problem for you and all your team?
Like because he's like just in front of everyone. But maybe I could just matrix not the Moga because like there's no point here and just try to focus
Right,
others.
right. So now we get into like the more nuanced decision making on Diva, where you've got a choice, right? Do I DM and burn the Malga and go just blow them up, or do I turn around and mock people that are playing aggressively here? Now, I think in this situation, I won't give the answer away yet, but I'll see what you do. I'll show what you can do to help make your decision making a little bit cleaner, make it a little bit better, and some factors that play into it too. But I think what you do here, which is burning the Malga, probably the correct choice. And I'll explain why in a moment. So this is all fine. Alright, fine. Alright, why is burning the Malga here fine? I'll zoom out and show that to you.
Because he engaged a bit too early.
Yeah,
Like the
so
team
he's
can't
fairly
really follow
killable,
up.
right? But why is it better to destroy the Malga than to DM these guys?
Um,
Is the Reaper a threat right now?
no,
No. Is the cast a big threat right now?
not really.
Not necessarily, right? Not really. Moira and Kiriko, are they doing anything right now?
No.
No,
The
right?
Kiriko can TP, but that's about it.
That's about it, right? So you can ignore if they're not doing anything. Who cares, right? Ignore them. This guy's the most aggressive person on the enemy team by a quarter mile. So so you DMing him, blowing him up makes perfect sense. Now maybe if we switch up the situation and let's say they were playing Ana and Ana was here, then that might change, right? Because eating nade becomes really important. So you might want to flick around and look at this sort of angle here, see who they're playing. So basically see who's peeking this angle and see if you need to DM whatever aggression's coming here, right? But yeah, I say Ana's probably the only situation where you probably want to DM this because frankly, this guy's feeding extremely hard, so the choice is pretty easy. But again, it can get complicated fairly quickly. But yeah, and again, the quick thing you can do here is as soon as the Malgo stomps in, you know that these guys are going to be walking up. So what's something you can do to quickly? So what's something you can do? Just make sure to like double check to make sure that burning the Malgo here is the correct choice.
I guess just looking at them
Yeah, literally, right?
quickly.
Just flick across there to the right side, glance to the right side, see who's playing here, and be like, oh, no one's really playing here, or no one's really doing anything here. So I can safely burn the Malga, and it's not gonna come at a big opportunity cost. Or it's not gonna come at a big, risk for my team. But yeah. So barring that, I would like to see you flick your crosshair to the Cassidy there, and then just double check. But barring that, so far so good. Playing out here is fine. Okay. He's really low. Sure. Right. Fine. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, you initially boosted to go into the Malga, and then you flicked across her up, so I think that's fine. Nothing crazy here. He just kind of inted, which makes your life easier. Maybe you just focus in a little bit too far down to the Reaper, but hopefully you should be fine. Okay, yeah, okay. Let's fight now. DM, fine. Flyouts. Yeah. Okay. Don't match the Malga. Yeah, so now I know you've got armor, but your resources are limited. And the second you lose all your armor, you will die to armor. You'll get burned really, really quickly. So, where can you fly out to instead?
Probably high ground on this side.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I was not expecting you to say that, but yeah, that would be great, actually. Right? Imagine you fly right over here. This is the epitome of aggressive but safe. This is an extremely, extremely aggressive angle. But can anyone clear you? Not really, right? And this is the nuance of playing D.Va, or not just D.Va, but any character with verticality. Is that you can play here and look at your options. This guy can't do shit about you. And then all of a sudden, who knows? You can actually look to burn the Reaper here, right? Or maybe you can look to maybe drop down here and then burn the Kiriko if she decides to walk forward, right? Like that can be really, really nice there. I'm actually very glad you spotted that, right? That's really good that you spotted that. Instead of again going on Malga. Because here, your angle's worse, and you're at more danger because you're tanking double miniguns from a Malga. Oh, that's scary. Okay. Okay. It does also be, I think that's fine to go onto him. Again, you don't need to double check it because you can already see, like you already had a little glance to what you could see there. So I think that's fine to, go into the Malga here. The only thing I'd say is missiles are a little bit early. But barring that, nothing crazy. Now you missile him because, he's not moving that much. But yeah. Okay. We'll see here. Okay, fine. Fine. Yeah, nothing crazy. Okay, sure. Cancels off. Go on to him. Yeah, I mean, very easy dive target there, obviously. Okay. Okay. We'll talk about those boosters down in a moment. More, that's fine. So the boosters initially looked a bit weird to me because, did you think there was like someone here, like playing this left side here?
Well, I heard the Reaper, but I think the main reason I went there was just to regroup with the team and
Oh,
be
okay, right. Because I thought when you were flying over here, you thought Reaper was like playing around here or something, which would make sense. Like I think that would be fine as well. But yeah, I mean, barring that, I would say probably boosting here is better because you've got the cover of the high grounds. You can still force point, and you can still blow up the Moira regardless. So yeah, I would say playing here again, hard to clear you, still within LOS of your team, all that kind of good stuff. But nothing crazy. Okay, yeah, fine. Nano's fine, yeah, go on Kiriko, makes sense. Okay. Okay, you switch targets a lot here, and you bomb again. So why not does Kiri TP here? She doesn't, so why not go on Kiri?
That's a good question.
Right, your Nano
I don't
boosted.
think I was thinking at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't require thinking as kind of where I'm coming from because you already saw the Kiriko there. She was half HP. She's roughly half HP right now. Your Nano boosted. You can blow her up very easily. And you swap targets onto the Reaper here, which is a bit slightly confusing. What's even more confusing is the bomb. Why bomb this?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe when we do this summary at the end, maybe bomb's gonna be one of the big things because so far the bombs this game have not been very good. So yeah, and we've used what Sojourner, yeah, 4 ultimates to win a fight. I mean, it's the last fight here to be fair, but still, maybe that's why you did it because it's the last fight, right? So maybe I can live with that one a little bit more. Okay, we're going to the last and final rounds and see how it goes. Okay. Alright, so similar-ish, well, match tanks right now. Lucian Moira, Reaper on their ends. Versus, again, a more ranged comp with what you're playing. Even though the comp slightly changed, the fundamentals are still the same. So again, you still want to be able to make sure, or to force out the Reaper in the pre-fight, to mark the Cassidy, and to essentially allow your backline to live for as long as you can. So you'll get more value in the long term, essentially. Nothing crazy. Okay, see here. Okay. Sure, fine. Okay, that boosters. Sure. Okay, feeding, she's feeding, nice. Fine, we'll back there a little bit here. So, you boost onto D.Va, right? This is good. I don't mind it. Where might you want to use the second half of your boosters though? It's not particularly easy, right? But where
Probably
might you...
going right here to get the angle.
Right, so finishing it over right here, right? And then if D.Va wants to come and clear you, and again, if these guys want to come and get you, that's very risky, right? Because again, Cass needs to walk out in front of Freya, Ana, Juno, and Sojourn. And D.Va's low as well, so she needs to be really wanting to chase you to come and get you here. You give your Ana and your Freya a lot of time, right? So that could be a nice little pivot you can look to go to. Instead of going back on low ground here. Okay. And yeah, if you look back at, if we go top down as well, right? And look at, let's say you went here. Right, I'll go back a little bit here. Actually. Let's see you did actually go here. Right, like now you can still pressure that D.Va, still pressure, and then you can walk forward, probably missile, and DM that Cassidy, and then who knows? You maybe get your boosters in again. You can DM the Cassidy, and then now by doing that, he doesn't get the kill here. You know, like this is where you need to be. You need to be here in front of your in front of the Cassidy right now, and you would have done that had you actually boosted over here. You know, those are small things, a small sort of again booster bait thing or booster like decision you could have made here, but it ends up in one of your teammates dying indirectly by a choice that you ended up making.
Yeah, because I just DM useless shots from the Reaper.
Yeah, you just DM, yeah, literally, right? You just DM useless shots from the Reaper 20 billion years away. Like, no one cares about DMing shots here. And what goes from a, you know, a pretty, you know, certain fight, like the D.Va was very low, like that fight should have been in your favor. What goes from that to, hey, now we're down one of our big support players, now this fight's looking more losable, like, yeah, now it's becoming a little bit more ropey. But yeah. Okay, and then I think, yeah, you're boosting that to try and get a trade, potentially. And now it becomes more rough. Okay. Yeah, so why not... Where could you have boosted to after you full spade? You're down to...
Well, yeah, I guess I should just try it, like go on top.
Yeah, go on these guys, right? Why is this a good idea?
They're low. Like they're gonna take both damage from the boosters, so I could maybe kill them both.
Exactly, right? So they're killable because they're low, and they're dangerous as well because they're walking forward and they've got a pretty aggressive angle here. So if you want to get trades, that's your go-to there. Not the baby D1 point. Yeah, not great. Okay. Oh, you do eventually do it, and that's actually a good boosters bear, by the way, but just too little too late, that's nothing. Okay. That's the next fight. Okay. Sure. Fine. Okay. Pull some D.Va out, all good. Might get a D-Mech, nice. Okay. Again, right? So, boosting here is fine, but where can you finish?
Corner. Like
Corner.
just on right.
Right, so finish over here, still get good angle, good cover, good high ground. No concerns here. Whereas doing this is more risky. Now you're surrounded. Okay. And you can see, right, your HP is tanking. You're being blown up right now because of where you're finishing your boosters. Second time we've seen that in a row on this specific point. And then you're forced to bomb, right? I've got a saying, you don't want bad positioning to force bad cooldowns, right? So you're forced to bomb because you were in a bad position to do so. Whereas again, had you been on high ground, you don't need to bomb this. Okay. Somehow kills that D.Va, I don't know how. Okay. Fine, yeah, Cass is just low, whatever, right? Who cares? And then, fine. DM, thank you. Just get armor. Just play the cover, get armor, get a good amount of armor, then you can go back in. Reaper is you just nothing if you got armor. Yeah, just play slow, chill. Yeah, it's probably a matchup thing as well. So Michael against Reaper, probably one of the last points I mentioned at the end. But yeah, if playing against Reaper or if looking to go back in again, have armor.
Okay.
Okay. You shouldn't. Don't peek. Do not peek this. You don't peek this. You haven't got enough armor for this. Just stay here, just chillax, and then get to like 500, 600 HP, and then you'll be okay. Alright. Let's see. I mean, it's gonna be probably next fight, to be honest. Maybe, actually not. Okay. Who knows? It's going back and forth. Looks to go in your favor, though. Yeah, thankfully. Nice. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Okay. Fine. Ah, it's unfortunate. Ooh, yeah, a bit ugly there.
Yeah, I wanted to go back, but like my hand didn't want to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to go back like on top of the boxes to just walk behind the corner.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of things you could do it really with the second off your boost as well. You could go back here, right? You could fly over here. You could go back here. You could go here, right? This would probably be the best one, I'd say. Yeah, but like any of those are fine. Just unfortunate that again, you get stuck in there on the boxes.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's probably gonna be you getting demech there. Somehow you lived that. Wow. Maybe not for long though. Yeah. Bit unfortunate. It's good to die. Yeah. Okay. Next fight. Yeah, Burning Diva, relatively fine. Jaw. And notice how, by the way, we can contrast this with the first point, where in the first sort of fight or the first story point, you were very like linear, like you were very front to back. You would have probably stacked main here and shot Diva the entire time. Whereas now, look at what you're doing. Right, this is exactly what I wanted you to do on the first Antarctica point, where you're drawing the attention of the Reaper and the Cassidy while still being very safe with stealth, right? And this allows the rest of your team to walk safely because there's not two DPS characters looking to burn them the entire time. So this is good, right? As long as you don't get too much of your resources forced out, this is looking good so far. So far, so good. I mean, that's fine. Okay, jumping off there, probably not. So you're gonna get orbital ray, so it's gonna be fine, probably. But where could you back off to, maybe?
Behind.
Yeah, so literally just S key. Ready, that's it. Go back here. Right, still keep your angle here, but LOS out by Cassidy. And then again, once your Juno orbital rays, you can pincer with the orbital ray, right? So maybe the ray pushes in like this, right? And then you push in from here, and then that Cassidy is cooked. That Reaper is cooked. And again, that allows you to get more value there. And hell, because they're so far back, you might not even need to do that. You could just, go on the Moira instead, probably. Because they're playing so far back. But yeah. Okay. See the yeah. There's one thing I haven't mentioned is that your missiles have been not great so far. Yeah, like you're missiling a Diva Matrix. It's not great. Generally, again, like missiles. It's a really common mistake to missile early because it's a projectile and you'll miss most of it. So just do it when you're really up close. Is all I'll say. But yeah. Literally, right now, you would love missiles, right? Because you're literally kissing the Lucio right now. You would love to blow him up right now, but you haven't got missiles to do so. Which is unfortunate because I think what you boosted to is actually fairly reasonable. I think going high ground here is fair. No, killing the Reaper, killing the Lucio, fair. Right, I think that's fairly okay. I guess my only thing there as well is notice how I zoom out and I spec here. Let's say you stayed here, right? Orbital ray. Now you just pressure. When the orbital ray goes down, then you can pressure out the Reaper, force Wraith form. Then you can mark the Cassidy, force him to roll away, and you control this area. Right? You can 1v2 these guys fairly easily. You control that entire area, right? And notice how had you done that, the Cass doesn't walk up here. He probably rolls away had you been here this entire time. He rolls away, and because of that, he domes your Freya. And that's really the important, I guess, nuance or the important thing about playing these aggressive but safe positions. And actually, you did do it. You flew over here. You did it. You flew over here. You just left for no reason. You left too early. So yeah, not ideal.
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. And then it just kills, like, this is fundamental diva play, you know? Like, this is what you play the character for. It's that you can't allow the cast or anyone to flank this wide, ever. That's all the design of your character. Um, but yeah, because again, you dropped off the high ground there and didn't mark up the Cassidy, he ends up getting three of your characters, or three of your teammates. Right? Even if you get the kill, it's probably too late, honestly. I mean, surprisingly, this has been turned into a dogfight somehow. But yeah, I would expect you to still lose this. Maybe. There's a lot more left here. It's like 50 seconds or so. Don't worry here. Fine. Running Diva. Fine. Low HP. Fine. Right, cancel stop right. Think again. There he is. Oh, dude. I'm okay. I'm gonna spec the Cassidy here, okay, to get the point across. And I'm gonna count. I'm gonna see how long he stays uncontested. So, 11:46. How long did he stay? Okay. 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 Finally, there we go. The 13 seconds of him staying on the high ground there. 13 seconds, and now you finally go onto him. You know? So you're lucky he didn't get a kill there. He actually missed most of his shots into the Freya, and he should have gone deeper. Now, as the saying goes, it's better late than never, right? But I guess the question becomes here: what took you so long to go into the Cassidy? Was it just the fact that you weren't aware he was there? Or...
I don't remember.
Right.
During that fight particularly.
Yeah.
I guess I was just tunnel vision because over time.
Yeah, because
I was
over
just
time, right?
shooting at whenever on point.
Yeah. That's probably what I would suggest or allude to as well here. Is that again because so much shit is happening on the point that you probably get a little bit tunneled on staying on the point here and just shooting with the first thing that's in front of you. But it is really important to have a third eye or to again be aware of the characters that you need to be marking. Especially in overtime where a casting on an angle will just destroy your team. It's like Basan Mega Base is also another really good example where that high grounds near the point on or both high grounds on Mecha Base are really powerful in overtime. Because they give you amazing LOS on the point. And it's kind of the same idea here, where thankfully you did actually go casting here, and again you could use that booster bait thing. You can use the second half of your boost to flick upwards and look at the Cassidy. But yeah. Okay. Of course, I wouldn't be scared about C9s. Your team's here. You've got all your teammates here. You don't need to be scared about C9 at the point here. But yeah. Okay. Roll out. Finally going Cassidy. When do you pop missiles here? I mean, not that early, so to say. But again, here's when you want to pop it, right? When you're literally right next to him. But yeah. Okay. Fine. Boosted him, nice. There we go. Unfortunately, team's gonna lose that. Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's probably gonna be match. I think. Yeah. There's like a few. We can do a quick summary here at the end, and then I'll answer any questions that you might have. We'll say like by far, I think. Say. Because it's tough because on the first point you were really like flat and linear, and then it became better as we watched throughout, where you were actually taking different angles, you know, as the fight was going on. But I still think, yeah, I think we'll say the first thing for sure has to be playing positions such that if enemy team want they're putting themselves at risk. And then you can also, I like to call this just aggressive, but safe. And again, a lot of this applied to the first fight on second point would be a good example. First point in general, and then a little bit there on the third point as well, on the cast and Reaper. And I guess like the ways or the ways to do this safely is is two factors, right? Question of yeah, three factors now that I think about it. Which is cover. And make sure these positions that you have, I've got cover. Distance is also another factor as well, and LOS. Right. So to give an example, if you look back at that second point, first fight where I told you to go into the little like go into the low ground and play in that little cubby spot, like that's got amazing cover. You've got a good amount of distance from the Malga and from anyone coming to push you, and there's LOS to your team. Your team can see anyone that goes onto you, which is important so that they can punish them if they do want to come and clear you out. Same kind of idea on the first point as well, where you could have flown to the left side over to the coast. You've got tons of distance. You can use the point as cover, and you've got LOS to your team. So those are the three factors I'd say that allow you to do this safely, or to allow you to execute this concept. And that's probably the biggest thing I'd say for you so far, in terms of your play. Second thing I'd say is the whole booster baiting idea. You did do it sometimes. I think on second point you did do it. But I think the second half used to either get out or reposition aggressively. So you gave me a great example on second point where you were brawling the Malga, and then you could have literally flown to his spawn, to his high ground spawn, and they couldn't have done anything about you. And you would have been safer because you wouldn't have been burnt, but you would have been also more aggressive. So it's also links this point here, also links into the first idea. Again, you can see. I think I mentioned this in DMs as well, but you can see how these points are starting to interconnect a little bit. But yeah, and what else to this as well that I'm thinking? No, I think that's really it. I think it's the crux of it really. And then the last thing is just patience with your right. So that will come into like your micro missiles. And too early in cases. I mean boosters, but obviously that's just the second point there. And then DM was okay. Oh yeah, just self-destruct, that was it. Self. But like I don't know what compelled you to sort of do this like really aggressive self-destructs like in pre-fight. But of course just use it to enhance aggressive plays. And against Malga specifically, you can just counter. Was a bit of micro I was thinking about. Oh yeah, with your armor too. So I'll say armor as well. I'll clear up this boost point. I'll say armor. Armor. Versus Reaper, because we saw twice where it wasn't just against Reaper, but we saw first point as well. You boosted in because you got a bomb kill onto the Kiriko, and you got blown up because you didn't DM or you didn't matrix when you lost all your armor and you got blown up. So armor management is also really important to that. But I think those are probably the key 3 points here. Any questions that you have, or any concerns or queries or anything you want to ask?
Yeah, I would like I think it was on second point you mentioned like flicking the camera to the cast just to see if no one was
Oh yeah,
attacking when the manga was diving. Then my question would be, do you have like some exercises to improve like this kind of awareness?
Right. So
Like,
it's a good point you bring up there. Right. So the main thing I see or say I'll tell players is there'll be a visual cue that tells you to do something or to be aware. Right. So for example, that can be the kill feed. Right. Someone dies. and then you look up at the kill feed, that can change how you play. Another one is also just I'll describe the one specific to this fight here. But another one is just my mind. Um, okay, maybe I'll remember it. But the one specific here is just aggression um from their tank. So in other words, the second that you see the Malgo stomping in, that should tell you immediately. Your brain should be like, okay, I see Malgo stomping. I'm gonna instantly make that connection that because Malgo's stomping, the rest of his team are going to walk in, and because of you know that, you're gonna flick around and you're gonna start looking around a little bit more. In other words, this guy is a prompt. He is a cue. He is a signal almost for you to start thinking more about a Cassidy playing here, right? Well, not just a Cassidy, right, but anyone else playing here. So hopefully that answers your question, right?
S- So let's say, for example, tonight I'm working on awareness. Then in my head, I'm like, okay, when the enemy engages, just I check where all the others are.
Right.
Um,
So you do a quick flick of your crosshair, right? So maybe it could be, to give an example or a different example, it could be a ball slamming in, and then you quickly check behind you or to your left or to your right. You look at their backline, right? Especially if they've got honor. You try and eat the nade. If you finish eating the nade, congrats, you've done that. Then you can look to do something else maybe. So maybe you force out their tracer instead, or maybe you look to continue to you maybe look to zone and fly onto the enemy Ash, or maybe if their backline are really far away and you haven't got to worry about them, then you can just turn around and burn the ball. Again, that decision making there, we didn't see much of it here because admittedly their Malga kind of fed, and there were some other positional qualms that I had when you got forced out a lot by the Reaper and the Malga. But yeah, like that is a general rule of thumb. Like when they engage, also when their tank goes in, it could be Ryan penning, it could be Malgo stomping, it could be Orisa spinning, it could be ball slamming, it could be Winston jumping, it could be Doom punching in, it could be a billion different things, right? There's some kind of aggression from their tank. It will usually be their tank. It could be a Nanoblade, it could be a DPS, right? But usually their tank. There's some kind of aggression that tells you that, hey, I need to be looking around because I need to catch the follow up. Um, but yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Anything else?
it does. Nope.
Alright,
I think
cool.
all is clear.
Alright,
I have my full
cool.
points as
Good to
well.
hear. Good to hear. Yeah, yeah.